Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at structured therapeutics. This was a stock analysis request from one of the followers, and I wanted to let you know that anyone can make these requests and I will most likely cover them, especially if there is an actionable trade setup to follow. And on this chart we had quite a bullish breakout in this area based on some positive news, some guidance that allows this stock to outperform has been brought to light, and actually now we aren't bound by any of the previous interpretations that would have assumed an overall larger downtrend going on in this area, And even in the previous video, we were still looking actually for continuation to the upside, We were still tracking, even in this bearish interpretation in blue, we were still looking for at least a fourth and a fifth to complete a larger 5-wave move structure to the upside to have this structure complete, since in the initial move to the upside from the all-time low, we had already formed at that point a 5-wave move to the upside, and after the 3-wave correction to the downside, we were looking with high likelihood for a 5-wave move at least, at the very least. Now, in the white scenario, we were tracking a more bullish interpretation. We were looking for a potential wave 3. But in the blue interpretation, we were still watching out for continuation here in this overall downtrend. And since we have broken, we had broken at that point, more recently rather, the 61.8% retracement in this area, it would have been a signal to us that, sure, we can watch out for a more bullish interpretation with higher likelihood, where we weren't necessarily going to focus still on continuation to new lows within a 5-wave move structure that we were previously tracking here, potentially in the blue scenario. Now, clearly, now we have formed new all-time highs. We are in exploration mode, and we aren't going to focus on any of the previous resistances. So now we can solely focus on the bullish interpretation, What is the potential that can actually be taken from this stock? And from the all-time low, we are tracking here an initial 5-wave move to the upside. We have here a 3-wave correction in wave 2, where we have held the area of support and continued in this uptrend. And as I was mentioning, we had here we were still expecting continuation higher, where at least we would have liked to hold the $21 level for us to actually still be able to track a potential 5-wave structure to the upside. And clearly, we didn't need it. We didn't need to get to those levels of support to continue our uptrend. And not only that, I could actually argue that this third wave extended and pushed all the way up here. And normally you may be thinking, well, this is the strongest movement. This seems to be the most impulsive structure in this entire uptrend. Isn't this the actual wave 3? And I would agree. I could agree that this could work out as a wave 3, but it isn't necessary, It is sometimes the case that the 5th wave is the strongest wave, and in such a scenario, we shouldn't expect too much of this uptrend. Now, I'm not saying that this cannot still work out, where we may be tracking here a series of 1-2-1-2 setups, and then this could work out as a third wave to the upside, but it shouldn't be automatically the assumption that we have here for this chart. Surely, it is a possibility, especially considering that if we are looking here for a potential 1-2 setup, we would be looking at the ideal target of the 138.2% extension, which was reached perfectly in this jump to the upside. Now, of course, within this uptrend, I wouldn't necessarily assume either that it has stopped. I would be able to track here internally areas of support that would still allow us to extend higher, and we will do that in a moment. But before that, I want to make it abundantly clear. We are allowing an interpretation on this chart that this could work out as a wave 3, but it isn't necessary. In the end, this third wave could have actually already been complete. If we look for the ideal target from this larger time frame perspective, we would have expected to get in this wave 3 to the 138.2% extension of the wave 1, which is around the $45 level. Clearly, in this case, we have even surpassed the 200% extension, and we don't need to form any additional highs. It is only needed what is left of this structure to build the entire pattern. And sometimes in such sharp movements, there are built-in subwaves within this direct movement to the upside. There may be distortions in this area that actually could be accounted for, where we wouldn't necessarily expect to continue in this uptrend. But for that, I would need to see a signal that this structure is going to fail by breaking the area of support that would allow such further continuation. Now, for now, we will continue to be tracking here this movement to the upside as a wave 5 if we manage, or not even if necessarily, but when we get here in this overall uptrend, in this overall entire move, a full 5-wave structure, we will be tracking possible continuation in a follow-up correction in a wave 4, as if this was a 1-2 setup and we had here a third wave to the upside. Yeah, I can actually even provide you right now an interpretation for such an idea, and we will be tracking this separately in yellow, okay? But internally within this structure to the upside, whether it is a fifth wave in white or a third wave in yellow, we will be tracking the exact same scenario. We will be tracking the exact same structure to be formed to the upside, which is a clear impulse in this area. And in that case, I will be watching out here still for a couple of additional legs up. Yeah, I will be looking here at a 1-2-1-2 setup. This is a third wave up, here a fourth wave correction, and then a fifth wave that would be expected still to form. And in that case, we can even go ahead and add an internal count in this area. Sure, we can track it in, yeah, sure, we can actually even track it in a completely different color. We can track it in green. And then I would be expecting once again to hold the area of support for a wave 4 correction. So far, we have gotten to the 38.2% retracement, which is the ideal target for a wave 4, but this isn't necessarily a signal that we have already bottomed. After all, in this small structure, which is very limited in terms of data, we only see 3-wave structures going on. Yeah, even from here, okay, this could work out maybe as a 1-2 setup, but then we have here a clear 3-wave move to the upside, and I'm not necessarily convinced that this correction is done, but again, it is on a very small time frame. We may get several distortions in this area, and as I was mentioning earlier, it isn't necessarily a high probability area, because here we have quite a serious morphing of the structure, quite a serious shift in the overall market sentiment, and the fifth wave may be built in, where sure, we may have hit here an internal wave 3, here a tiny wave 4, and then the fifth wave may be done. In that case, we should be prepared even for a possible top in this interpretation, as I was mentioning. And for now, I'm watching here the $57 level for a signal that this structure isn't or shouldn't be expected to form any additional highs. And if we break here below the 50% retracement, I would most likely be watching out for a possible top in this overall wave 3 and for quite a serious extension in a larger correction in a wave 4, where, yeah, sure, we can even look for the larger area of support for such an interpretation. And here, the support would really only start at the $62 level and extends all the way down to the $38.7 level at the 50% retracement. These are the large time frame levels that I would focus on for continuation in this overall larger 5-wave structure. But since we had such a significant correction in wave 2, I wouldn't expect a sharp push into a wave 4 necessarily. Yeah, a sharp push and continuation directly higher, at least not in such a wide interpretation where we would be already looking for the larger wave 4. But for now, we can focus here on the smaller time frame. We can allow this movement to develop and form more reliable structures, possibly even a few additional highs before we focus on the larger time frame. And yeah, for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover. I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead, and until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.